can't see through. There's a wall so high it reaches the sky. Somewhere between me and you, I love you so much I can't let you go. And sometimes I believe you love me, but somewhere between your heart and mine, there's a door without any key. Somewhere between your heart and mine, there's a window I can't see through. There's a wall so high it reaches the sky. Somewhere between me and you. Somewhere between your heart and mine, there's a love that I don't understand. It's there for a while, then it fades like a smile, and I'm left in the middle again. Somewhere between your heart and mine, there's a window I can't see through. There's a wall so high it reaches the sky. Somewhere between me and you. Somewhere between me and you.
Deep within my heart lies a melody, a song of old San Antonio. And in dreams I live with the memory beneath the stars all alone. It was there I found beside the Alamo enchantment strange as the blue up above, and that moonlit past that only she would know. Still here's my broken song of love. Moon in all your splendor, no light in my heart. I'll back my rose, rose of San Antonio. A lips so sweet and tender, like petals by the bar. Speak once again of my love, my broken song. Empty words I know still live in my heart all alone. And that moonlit passed by the Alamo and rose my rose of San Antonio. tender like petals falling apart. Speak once again of my love, like broken song, empty words I know still live in my heart all alone. And that moonlit passed by the Alamo and rose my rose sad tone.
Tom's got some new medicine.
Yeah, got some medicine, feeling good. Got a weekend coming up also. All right, let's get it started here. Here we're at the Village Green at Suite 57. Whoop. Whoops, Group Radio here, 99.9. You can call in at 614-5553, 614-5553. It's a morning jive with Jeff and Tom this morning. Get a cup of Joe and let's go.
Friday.
We're ready to fire this thing up. Let's set it on fire. We're going to set the station on fire this morning. How about that? How about the fire department? You out there? You on call? Somebody call the fire department. We're on fire in here. All right. Yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about. We got a special guest in the studio also.
A lot going on today.
Oh, a lot going on. Yeah, Jack Maddox is U.S. Congressman for U.S. Congress who's going to be here with us. Be able to call and ask him some questions. He's going to get his platform to tell you what he stands for and why he's running and what difference he wants to make in our communities.
We're awful glad to have him with us today, and we're going to have him up in about 10 minutes or so. Then you can call in at 614-5553. You can live stream with us at www.wolffm.com. Congressional candidates, not very often you get to talk to a congressional candidate to ask them questions, so take advantage of that today.
All right, Jeff.
Tom, weekend. What are you going to do this weekend?
I'll tell you what, there was calling for snow out there this morning. I watched the weather, and it said snow flurries.
Well, your dad got 3 inches up in Richmond, Virginia. That's not so far away. It is a long way away, I guess.
It is. I can't believe it. Yeah, snow showers is calling for, I think, this morning when I was watching the news at home. So
just don't stun our dogwoods. No, I want to see those dogwood blooms next weekend.
Yeah. Well, what's the weather going to bring up, Jeff? We got an event tomorrow.
Well, right now it's 34 degrees outside and feels just like that. And it's cloudy, and we can expect 0% chance of precipitation today. A high of 57 degrees, so that'll be out there pretty comfortable. That's golf weather for you, Tom.
Yeah, no, not for me. 57. It's got snowflakes, I think it shows on there.
You said just the other day between 50 and 55. Now it's going to be 57, so that's your golf.
It is, but I've got too many things to do today.
Well, today's your normal golf day, though, right?
Well, it usually is, but I'm not going to be able to play today. I've got some other stuff I need to do and take care of. So
okay. All right. Well, Jeff Lovingood and Richie Hughes and Todd Beck, they'll just have to do something else, I guess.
They'll play a threesome.
Tonight, 42 degrees is going to be our low. A 70% chance of rain. Saturday, though, it's going to be 63 degrees. It's getting a little warmer. It'll just feel balmy outside because it's going to be a 70% chance of rain on Saturday, too. Not a very good forecast for the festival, but hey, I've seen it clear off and be really nice, even though the forecast says one thing. My grandfather used to say, only God can predict the weather. And so don't let that change your plans just because of the forecast. Get on out there and support that festival if you were thinking about doing that anyway. Saturday night, low of 50 degrees, 80% chance of rain. And Sunday, a high of 56 with a 40% chance of rain. So the forecast doesn't look too bright, but hey, our future does. So there you go. That's our weather forecast according to the Weather Channel online. I just read it. I'm not a meteorologist, Tom. So I don't think that's going to be the way it goes. I think we're going to have a good weekend.
All right, and here we got a little news here. Jack's helped me out here a little bit just on this barbecue and bluegrass. That's tomorrow. It's been suspended until the 19th of May was a rain date.
Okay.
So it will not be tomorrow.
All right.
So we'll postpone until May the 19th.
Good deal.
So
there we go.
They had a rain date. That's great.
I like that.
Zach, appreciate that. The information.
Yeah, we got a little help in here. Thank you. All right, Tom, what's going on in the world of sports? The wide world of sports, the agony of defeat.
Let's go with baseball and softball first, and then we'll wind up going to a little March Madness here. Wednesday, baseball. Bradley Central beat McMinn County 5-3. Bradley Central extends their record to 4-2-1, and district is 1-1. Walker Valley came back and beat Cleveland 4-2. So Walker Valley's overall record is 7-1, 3-1 on the district. Cleveland's 4-4, 2-2 in district. In softball, we've had the Bradley Bearettes. The girls beat Cleveland 14-0, skunked them pretty hard. So Bradley Central's pinched them hard. Bradley Central's 5-5, 1 in district. Cleveland's 0-4 and 0-3. Hadn't won a game yet, so I hope they'll get the things on path there and they'll go forward.
I told my daughters they should have gone to Bradley.
Yeah, Lady Mustangs over the Lady Hurricanes. That's East Hamilton, 6-1. East Hamilton's 2-2. Walker Valley's 4-3, 1-0 in the district. And that's your sports for baseball. Let's go a little March Madness. We had some basketball last night, Jeff. We were talking about it earlier on the brackets.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen it.
Yeah, we've got.
I could have watched that late game, but my gosh, it was after 10 o'clock, and they were just like barely into the first half. And I bet they didn't finish that till after midnight.
Yeah, well, here we go. We had Florida State over Gonzales. They beat them 75-65 points. That's one you lost. You didn't have Florida State. Michigan, you still hold on to, I believe, on that part.
Yep.
Michigan beat Texas A&M. And tonight we got Syracuse and Duke playing on CBS, and Kansas and Clemson on CBS at 7 o'clock. And then you go to TBS on the East Division. There you got Villanova and West Virginia. And Tennessee Tech and Purdue are playing each other. So you've got two
Tennessee
of them.
Tech is not playing Purdue, Tom.
Texas Tech. I'm sorry, Texas Tech. That's another T on that thing. Texas Tech. All right. I'm going through this list pretty quick here. Now, we do have
Sweet 16, Tennessee Tech. Yay!
Tennessee Tech. There you go. All right. We can allow a mistake every now and then. All right.
No worries. I just
Lola Chicago
sort of funny,
beat Nevada. They are in the Elite Eight now. Can you believe that?
No, I can't believe that. I guess that old woman's still sitting there too.
And Kansas State also. They're in the Elite Eight. So there you go. Florida State and Michigan State's in the Elite Eight. So
I was saying that in jest. I have a lot of respect for my elders, but I'd still wonder why they kept showing her on our Tennessee Loyola game. They just every time I looked at the camera or at the TV, her face was on there.
Yep. Well, that's your basketball. We had a little women's basketball. We didn't have anything to talk about on that, but they're coming up. We got Notre Dame and Texas A&M are playing each other at the 24th, and also you got Central Michigan still in there. Central Michigan, that's a dream team. And Oregon, Central Michigan was 11th bid on that part, Jeff. And then you got Oregon State, Baylor, and Louisville and Stanford. That'll be a good game on the 23rd at 9:30. So that's ladies.
Awesome.
That's what I have on that part.
Well, good deal. You remember that teacher out in California that got caught on? He was recorded saying that the military was not really the sharpest tools in the shed. They were kind of the lowest of the low of the society and that sort of thing. You remember that dude?
I'm a member of it, but I don't remember the dude.
Well, I mean, he was a teacher out in California.
Is that the dude looks like a lady?
No, it wasn't him. It was a fellow that just was berating our military, trying to teach his class, saying, the military's not really, they're the lowest of part of society. They're not really something that you should aspire to and that sort of thing. And just learned this week that he got fired.
Oh.
And it took them long enough, but they finally got around to the right conclusion. He was fired. I was sort of happy to see that.
Well, our military is being built back up after passing a spending bill of $1.3 trillion last night through Congress. So it's going to President Trump's desk to sign on that part. So,
and all about the military, but
military and build a wall.
And then Planned Parenthood was in there as well. Funding for Planned Parenthood was in there.
You got to take away that. There's no way.
Well,
First Baptist had an event last night. Maybe Jack will talk about that a little bit, how that went.
yeah, I saw Jack there, so I didn't get to speak to him, but I saw him there. And there were a lot of folks there. It was a great event. Really, really nice. Good entertainment and good news coming out of that place. It was the work that they're doing here in our community, and the statistics and all of the lives that have changed. It was just awesome. It was a wonderful event. So kudos to New Hope Pregnancy Center and what they're doing.
All right, Jeff, let's just a little bit here. That's a little bit of fighting words here. You see where Donald Trump lashed out at Joe Biden, wanting to beat the out of him, saying Thursday.
Now, wait a minute. That was the other way around.
Well, but Joe Biden was saying that, but then he said that he would go down fast, hard, and crying if Trump got a hold of him on that part.
Yeah, well, I mean, what would you say if I said I wanted to take you out the side behind the woodshed and beat your
Well, take you out behind the school, what he said. Take you out behind the school.
Well,
the gymnasium and beat the out of you again. And said that, oh man, disrespectful for women usually is the fattest, ugliest SOB in the room. So this thing is getting out of hand.
Well, it looks like 2020 is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So in saying that, let's go to a song. Well, we got got a call already.
Like Tom trying to incite it right. Yes, caller, you're on the Morning Jive with Jeff and Tom. Good morning.
Hey, if people would quit talking about Trump and taking him behind the barn and all this old crap, he wouldn't make remarks like he does. One thing about old Trump right there, you talk about him, see, people don't realize that them people's the ones that starts it and Trump comes back, see.
He's a counterpuncher.
Yep. Talk about him without him telling him, which I don't blame him.
He's a counterpuncher. He doesn't go out there and pick these fights.
No, my money's on Trump. I'll tell you that right now.
When Trump runs again, I'll be voting for him because he just tells it like it is, and just like that old guy North Korea, he says something, shoot, Trump will come right back and tell him because, hey, he's for the American people, and they need to understand that because he ain't going to be letting nobody pick on us. Nope.
I think we can see who the tough guy is by the last 8 years, the last administration. What did Joe Biden say then? He didn't take anybody behind the school at that time. So I think he's just trying to posture himself to make himself look tough in front of the Democrat voters. And
Trump right there, he'd beat the crap out of him.
Well, going to that,
he'd cry going down is what Trump said.
That's what he said. He said, crazy Joe Biden would try to act like a tough guy. Actually, he's weak in both mental and physically. So,
if I came over there and was going to whip you, you think you're going to sit there and just let me take
it? No, Trump said he'll go down fast, hard, and crying all the way. So.
So, have a good one.
All right,
appreciate the call. Thanks for calling.
Let's talk about fighting words here. We got a little Tracy Axons here and fighting words on the song. After we talked about that, let's go to that, Jeff, and we'll come back when we've got the
Jack Maddox, our congressional candidate. We'll talk with him for a while.
Everyone knows I'm the hard-working, peace-loving type. I'd walk 1,000 miles out of my way just to keep from a fight. Poke fun at the way that I talk or this hat that I wear. You can say what you want about me, see if I care. But once upon a time about my God or my mama, this flag that I wear on my shirt, you see a side of me, man, that I don't think you wanna, 'cause them there's fighting words. Now don't get me wrong, I swap skin now and then in my youth. I was all for an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Now the older I get, the less I want to stand toe to toe. But before you go running your mouth, I think you ought to know a side of me, man, that I don't think you wanna. 'Cause them there's fighting words. Chevrolet or Ford, the South or the North, that ain't gonna get me worked up. But I'll draw the line every time when it comes to the things that I love. So one slip of the tongue about my dog or my woman of this country that I proudly serve. You see a side of me, man, that you damn sure don't wanna. 'Cause them there's fighting words. Yeah, them fighting words. Oh, them fighting words, oh.
All right, Trace Atkins on the Morning Jive with Jeff and Tom.
There's some fighting words.
Fighting words.
Trump and Joe Biden.
It's Biden,
Biden.
and Trump. But Trump's a counterpuncher.
Yeah.
Biden started that fight.
Yep. Trump is going to finish it.
And how about how the talking heads, the female talking heads, you know, if Trump had started that, if he had said what Biden said first, and then even if Biden said what Trump said after that, the whole discussion would have been totally different. That's what bothers me about our media these days. Oh, they said Joe Biden was being chivalrous.
No.
He was being chivalrous by wanting to take the president behind the school. And
You know, they talk about, and we go back to Hillary talking about how Trump wants to bring us back in the old times. Now, that's what Joe just said. Take it behind the gym. That's what some of they would do back in the 40s.
He's looking back.
Yeah, he's looking back in the 40s and 50s, you know. So they don't do that anymore.
Well, we have an in-studio guest today, Jack Maddox, running for Congress, and he's here. If you would like to, he's going to tell us a little bit about why he's running and everything, but if you would like to ask him a question, you can call in at 614-5553, and you can live stream with us here at www.whoopfm.com. Jack, it's good to have you with us today.
Thank y'all for having me on. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about the campaign.
All right.
Great.
Well, Congressional District number
4.
Okay.
Yep.
And you have been out there for a while. I saw you at Kiwanis Club one time, and you've been out there running for a while. Why are you running for Congress?
Well, y'all may recall when President Trump got elected last year in the inauguration and everything, that was a time of celebration for many of us. But the day afterwards, they had a lot of pro-abortion protests in Washington, and my wife walked in the living room. I had tears in my eyes watching it on the TV, and she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, my heart's breaking for all those babies that don't get to be born." And it's been a fairly spiritual few years for me, so I prayed that day. And yeah, if Joy Behar is listening, I don't know if she listens to Wolf or not, but she would mock me because I believe God asked me to step out on faith and do something about it, get off the sidelines. I've never ran for office before. I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or a millionaire. I'm just a middle-class, working-class guy that decided he wanted to make a difference. I started checking into things, and I found out my opponent, even though he has a good voting record as far as pro-life, he won't say that life begins at conception. And for me, you can't be pro-life without believing life begins at conception. So I take issue with that. So I started, digging around on some other things, and I'll tell you about those in a minute. But you want me to do the background now, or you want me to?
Well, you just take it where you. I'm just asking you why you're running, and you're sort of telling us about that. And tell us. And you can also tell us about yourself and give us a little bit of history about you, and then weave that into why you're running.
All right. Well, I graduated Bradley Central like you guys did, but I was 2 years behind you in 83.
Okay.
So I remember y'all. Y'all were seniors when I was a sophomore.
Well, you remember my wife, too, then. Yeah. Denise Ledford probably on that part. She was a flag twirler. One of those flag
yeah.
girls out there.
Yeah, I was in
Yeah.
band, so I
Yeah,
probably remember
so
her.
you probably remember her.
I was a cool band geek, though. I was a drummer. So.
If I had it to do over again, I think I'd be in the bleachers under a blanket watching football instead of out there in that cold.
Playing golf, right?
Yeah, playing golf and tennis. That's right. I did play tennis, but I'd play golf. I would.
But yeah, I so I grew up here in Bradley County, born and raised. Went into military shortly after high school. I went in the Navy. I was married before I went in, and my wife
We
and
appreciate that.
Yeah.
my wife and I, we've been married over 32 years. You know, and we have 2 grown sons. So after I come out of the military, I had the avionics training, and that allowed me to have a career. So I went into being like a computer technician in factory-type environments. And eventually I became a non-degreed engineer. I moved up to that engineering title without the degree. And back in 2003, I had what I call a midlife crisis. I became a Chattanooga police officer. And I say midlife because the cutoff is 40, and I turned 39 while I was in the academy. And I went in there and worked real hard, and I won all kinds of awards: Rookie of the Year, Optimist Club Officer of the Year, and staff accommodations for hard work. Well, I want to take that hard work to Washington. And I told you earlier that, you know, I got to digging into my opponent and things, and he has an excellent voting record. He's always rated real high from heritage and everything. So I thought, okay, this is good. Maybe there's something to work with here. But what I noticed is that he's never passed a single piece of legislation on his own. And if my facts are right, the last time I looked, he sponsored 27 pieces. One of those got through the House but stalled in the Senate, and that was like back in 2012. Well, Jeff, he's going on being there. He's going on his 8th year right now. And to me, voting is not an accomplishment. We need somebody willing to legislate. And he doesn't legislate. And you'll look at his record compared to other people elected at the same time back in 2010. They've done way more. They've sit on heads of committees, and they've legislated. Our very congressman here in the state of Tennessee, and you go look at Diane Black or Marsha Blackburn, and I'm not endorsing them, I'm just saying I looked at their record too, because they all got elected at the same time,
Right.
and yet they accomplished some stuff. And so to me, we're not getting our money's worth. I met my opponent, and he's a nice guy, but being a nice guy don't necessarily make you a great congressman. And USA Today labeled him the quietest congressman in Congress in 2016. And for me, we don't need the quietest congressman in Congress for our district. We need someone to go out there and be outspoken for life, be outspoken for the issues that are important to us here in this district.
Well, now that you mention that, I want to ask you something, because I get frustrated because our congressmen, our senators do not take up for President Trump enough. They do not. They just let him get barraged, and they do not take up for him. They don't. And I'm not saying that every single thing in the world that he does is absolutely right. I'm not trying to say that at all. But this Mueller investigation is a witch hunt, and they need to be saying that. They need to be saying that loud and clear. It needs to be shut down, in my view, and but he cannot get any support from Congress, and even the leadership, McConnell. Let it play out. Let it play out. Well, they see what they're doing. The Mueller investigation is not about hunting a crime. It's about investigating a person to pin a crime, and it needs to stop. It's bad for the country. And so I want somebody up there that's going to be able to say that, notice it when it's true. And I'm not. If it weren't true, then don't say anything. But if you recognize that as being true, to speak out about that and at least take up for our president.
Yeah, but I mean, we see that a lot from the Republican side of the aisle. You get a lot of liberals like Maxine Waters and stuff. They'll go out on the House floor and make a lot of defamatory remarks about our president and about our first responders and so forth.
Exactly, and that as well, yes.
And we need someone to be willing to speak up, and I'll be that counterpuncher, like President Trump's a
I hear a lot of
counterpuncher.
crickets on our side of the aisle.
Even Joe Biden, we'll go back to him again. He would take him out and whoop him out behind it. I mean, he's threatened him twice already on that part. So
But clearly,
the Democrats will do that. They'll stand beside each other. The Republicans
Well,
kind
they
of have a way
circle
to-
the wagons.
Yeah,
man.
and the Republicans have a way of just kind of splitting off, and they're all out there. You know, and I don't know where they're at. So.
Well, clearly the media is biased because just like the whole thing with Facebook, trying to ding President Trump for using Facebook. When President Obama done the very same thing, they praised him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 2012, he's sitting there mining for all this information on Facebook, and Zuckerberg's giving it to him. It's like, here you go. And then when the Republicans do it, oh, that's a serious breach of come on. There's so many things like that that's going on. But I tell you, I just really get tired of the crickets that I hear on the other side of the aisle. And it's starting to come out. The reason why might be related to some of these investments and ties to China that McConnell has and things like that. Things like that are coming out. And
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, yeah.
He went over there and came back, and then
deflect.
He deflected.
Deflect the news about his son making $1 billion from the Chinese.
Billions of dollars, yeah.
And I'm going to take Trump behind the woodshed. I mean, that's
The swamp is deep. It's really a sewer, but
yeah.
the swamp is
Oh,
deep.
exactly. It is a sewer.
I don't know if you ever heard of the book written by Congressman Buck from Colorado. And it's talking about the swamp is deeper and what you think. There's a book out there I'd recommend people reading it.
Yeah.
What it does, it talks about when you're elected to Congress and you go up to Washington and you want to be on a committee, right? You have to pay to be on the committee. And the Democrats do something similar. So to get on a real good committee, you have to pay $1 million. Right, and the one that Congressman Buck was getting almost $450,000. I don't remember what that one. I don't recall what that one was. But you say, well, how do they do that? They're only making $174,000 a year. You know, how are they paying to be on the committee? Well, they have fundraisers in Washington.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who goes to fundraisers in Washington with a checkbook ready to donate?
Tom.
Yeah.
What? I'm asleep there.
Lobbyists.
You got my check? Did I give you a check? Did I give you a check?
No, you're talking about lobbyists, of course.
lobbyists,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, to me, a big part of my campaign is putting the power back with the people instead of special interest. And, being outspoken. Political correctness is killing us right now. It's choking us.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we got to be willing to call things the way they really are and not be accused of all kinds of things that are bad that just because we believe that way. I think our Christian faith is under attack. We're being made to feel like we shouldn't be doing it. Now, on some of the confirmation hearings, they when people were very religious, they were trying to disregard them, say, no, you're too religious.
Yeah.
To be on this serving this position.
Okay. Jack, I think we have a caller. Good morning. You're live on the Morning Jive with Jeff and Tom. How are you this morning?
Doing well, Jeff. This is Richard Hughes.
Yes, sir. Richard. Richard is our public defender and calls in every Friday morning at 7:30 for a movie review. And we're here sitting with Jack Maddox, a congressional candidate, and talking with him. We're going to take a few minutes to take a break and take a release to a movie review, like we would go to a movie on the weekend for a little bit of a escape time.
Yeah.
So, Richard, give us an escape. Tell us something good. What can we see this weekend?
Have you noticed in popular culture lately and movies and music that the 80s are back?
The 80s are
The
back.
80s are back. 70s, 80s are here on Whoop Radio this morning.
We try to bring it back every weekday morning.
You remember last week I reviewed the remake of Death Wish,
That's right.
That's it.
and that film had very much had a 80s action film vibe to it. This week I saw. Did you like the horror films of the 80s? Jeff, do you remember the original Halloween?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Halloween.
Scared the bejeebies out of me.
Yeah.
I wanted to run. When I left the theater, I was running.
Yeah, Carpenter's original Halloween was very influential. Spawned a lot of similar movies. You remember the Friday the 13th movies as well, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
This this week, I saw a remake of The Strangers. I don't know if you remember the horror film The Strangers from 2008.
I don't believe I saw that one.
I don't think I saw that one either.
This one's called The Strangers Pray at Night. And, Jeff, it is a direct homage to John Carpenter's Halloween, his other horror films of the 80s, The Fog, Christine. If you like 80s horror movies, your audience will like this movie.
Awesome.
Again, you have these three masked assailants terrorizing a family, and it's a deserted weekend trailer park.
There's something more creepy when they wear a mask. I don't know what it is. It's just like the clowns, Jeff. Nobody likes clowns either.
That's right.
Clowns scare people to death.
There's three assailants. The man wears a hood, and the two women wear iconic masks with smiles. And basically, it's a film. It's terrorized by it's a game to these people, and they terrorize the family in this deserted park. It's a well done movie. The pace of the movie is very good, very atmospheric. Carpenter always used his musical score. He did his own music scores. You remember the music of Halloween, the synthesizer music?
Oh, yeah.
The theme, that type of synthesizer music used in this film. And he also uses a lot of the same type of imagery that Carpenter used in those 80s films. So when I saw this movie last week, Jeff, there was me and only looked like two college-age girls in the theater, and they talked all the way through the movie. So I think I enjoyed it more than they did.
Doesn't that get on your nerves when you pay good money and want to see a movie and somebody's doing that?
Jeff, I've got what's called a movie pass. My staff, for my birthday, gave me a movie pass, which means that I can see a movie any day of the week for free, Jeff. So
awesome.
That's one of the best gifts I've ever had.
I used to have one of those when I was in the state legislature. It was a pretty neat little perk. But, that's awesome.
Next week, there's going to be a more retro 80s. Steven Spielberg is releasing a new movie, Ready Player One. It's based on a science fiction novel from several years ago, and it's pure 80s nostalgia, Jeff.
That's awesome.
I'll be reviewing that one next week.
Okay, well, that's very good. What kind of rating do you give Strangers, Richard?
I thought this sequel was as good as the original from 2008, so I'd give it a solid B, Jeff, this week.
Awesome, man. You're tough. I tell you what, B is a good grade from Richard Hughes. I can tell you that, because he doesn't give very many A's, do you?
No, he said he didn't.
Awesome. Well, fabulous. Thank you so much, Richard, our public defender and movie extraordinaire, movie critic extraordinaire, Richard Hughes, calling in on Friday mornings right here on Whoop FM radio. Thank you so much, and we look forward to next week's review, Richard.
Richard, have a good weekend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity, Jeff.
All right, take care. All right, we're going to play a little song and get back with Jack Maddox, our congressional candidate for the 4th Congressional District. Having a good conversation with him, and if you want to join in on that, please call in at 614-5553, 614-5553. He's right here. You can ask him a question.
All right, here we go. A little Doobie Brothers here. Black Water. Get your morning started up this morning. Had a little bit of black water on Peerless Road the other day when they had a water line break, so they were down for a little bit. So
I knew you were tying it in somehow.
Yeah, so a little black water here. Here we go. Clean Utilities did a great job getting it back up and running.
Jump in that paddle wheel bumping. Black water keep rolling on past just the same. Oh, black water keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, black water keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, black water keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Yeah, keep on shining your light. Gonna make everything great. Mama gonna make everything alright. And I ain't got no worries, 'cause I ain't in no hurry. Let's take that streetcar, let's go into town. Yeah, I like to hear some funky Dixieland and dance a funky tongue. And I'll be buying everybody drinks all around. Go back water, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Go back water, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Go back water, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Keep on shining your light, gonna make everything, gonna make everything alright. And I ain't got no worries, 'cause I gave you no worry at all. With your daddy all night long. I like to hear some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by
One
the
of my
hand.
favorite songs.
All right, sing the bass.
Hand, pretty mama,
Sing
gonna
the
dance
bass.
with my daddy all night long. I like to hear some funky Dixieland. Mama gonna take me by the hand. By the hand, take me by the hand. Pretty mama, dance with my daddy all night long.
I like to hear some
All
funky
right.
Dixieland. Pretty mama,
That's
come
home,
and
baby.
take me by the hand.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs right there. I think we played it twice
Well,
this week.
yeah,
So
you have.
yeah, so
But you, I think you saw that sewer coming across Peerless Road that made you think of it.
yeah, it did. It did. I always try to tie the songs in with our topics now. So on that part, let's
Well,
get
we're
back.
here with Jack Maddox, our candidate for the 4th Congressional District of the U.S. Congress, and having a good conversation with him. And if you'd like to ask him a question, you can call in at 614-5553, 614-5553, and you can live stream with us and see how pretty he is right here on whoopfm.com, www.whoopfm.com. All right. We had our movie review come in there, and he comes in every Friday at this time. So we just we were having a good conversation ahead of that, and we want to continue that now with our candidate Jack Maddox. Again, welcome, and tell us a little bit more about the question that we were talking about before is why you're running. What do you see as the most important issues of the 4th Congressional District?
We've had a lot of generals say that our biggest threat to national security is our debt. So even though tax cuts are great and all that, we still have a spending problem on some things, and we have a lot of fraud, waste, and corruption, and so I think that's a big problem.
Do you ever think we're ever going to pay that debt off? I mean, be realistic. Are we ever going to have the fortitude to do what it takes to pay that debt off?
I think if we, do term limit, and you know that you're going up there for a certain term, and you want to do the best you can do for those terms, I think we can. But as long as we keep electing career politicians, but that's not going to happen.
You
That's
signed
something
a
you're
term limit pledge, didn't
Yeah,
you?
you signed a pledge on that, correct? On
Yeah.
term limits. You think it's important to have term limits.
How many
The
terms?
president has a term limit.
Yeah.
They're not there
Well,
forever.
there's
2
actually-
terms, that's it.
There's actually an organization out there called Term Limits US, and they're a nationwide organization. They have a director here in Tennessee and everything. But they've done all kinds of studies, and the majority of the people want senators to serve only 2 terms. We're talking like 85% of America now. And they only want congressmen to serve 3 terms, which is 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they believe the senators are, more elder statesmen. And I signed that pledge, and what I'm saying is, in the pledge, you're saying that if that comes out on the House floor, you'll vote for it. Well, I'm going one step further. To me, I signed that pledge. I'm only going to stay 6 years. I have a job now. I'll come back and get this job or another job.
Right.
I don't want to make it a career. I don't want to spend that much time. in the swamp, but I want to go help clean it out.
Okay. Well, good.
But I there's some other things that I'm very passionate about. I told you earlier, big part of the reason I got in the race is I'm pro-life.
I saw you at the rally the fundraiser last night for New Hope Pregnancy Center.
Right. There was a great crowd there, a great guest speaker, and great statistics, like y'all said earlier, about how they're winning lives. It's about winning lives.
Absolutely.
But I'm pro-life outside the womb as well, right? The opiate crisis, we're underwater with the opiate crisis. Back in 2015, I had a brother that died from opioid-related. And so his was not an overdose. His was, it had taken his body down so much. He used to have broad shoulders and stuff, and it took him down to a shell of himself. And he got an infection, and his internal organs just couldn't handle it, and it's all related to his opiate addiction. So, I mean, it knows no class boundaries, no socioeconomic boundaries.
Right.
And if you talk to anybody, they're probably going to either know someone or someone in their family, or even they have had a struggle with the opiate crisis, and we're underwater. And so I'm very aware that our Congress has been inactive too long on that. It's not a new problem. And I know we hear that a lot as far as inactive on a lot of things, rather if it's the opiate crisis, rather if it's other things going on for our district. And we need somebody willing to speak up and call a spade, and not be willing to fall back into the, I call it leading out front, not leading behind.
Right.
I believe our current congressman is leading from behind. He's not, he don't lead any committees. He's not legislating. To me, he's kind of riding on President Trump's coattails. Also, if you go look at his stuff, that's what he talks about, everything that President Trump's done. And I want to say, yeah, but what are you doing?
Right.
We're all seeing what President Trump is doing, and I want to see what he's doing. And I'm up against a lot of things. I'm not going to lie. I'm up against the establishment. I'm up against media lack of coverage and stuff, because a lot of people like the status quo. Well, I'm going to be disruptive. I was disruptive when I was a Chattanooga police officer. As a street cop, I was down there going after the crack houses, and stuff. That's what got me those awards. That, normally detectives and stuff done that. But I was getting search warrants, and taking down crack houses. I was a disruptor. And that's what I want to go do in Congress, is be a disruptor. And not do the status quo. And I've had people say, well, they'll tell you better fall in line and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'll be the very outspoken one to say, look, you know what, they just told me if I didn't fall in line, because if I believe
expose
God,
that part of the swamp.
If I believe God has asked me to do this, I believe God will protect me. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So some other things you asked about our district. I serve on engineering advisory boards here at both Cleveland and Bradley High School. Because, you ever heard of the term silver tsunami?
I don't think I have.
Well, the silver tsunami is all the baby boomers that are retiring, that are skilled labor, right? Your pipe fitters, your welders, your electricians, mechanics. They're all retiring, and we don't have the workforce to take their place. So, we're making some good steps here in Bradley County. They're going to do something in American uniform and stuff to try to get people interested in those skilled labor jobs. And I believe we have to do something there with that. So I have a thought of that is where we take this young mother, single mother, 2 kids on welfare and food stamps, and we say to her, look, for the next 9 months, we're going to train you on this skill. She can't go work at McDonald's, make minimum wage, because it don't pay. She make more money on welfare and food stamps. So what we have to do is make a system that doesn't make that more appealing.
Exactly.
And so we say to her, next 9 months, we're going to train you on one of these skills, whether it's computer repair or whatever, that you can, get interested in. Well, what do we do there? Well, we break the welfare food stamps cycle for that family. The kids see their mom be successful. Their mom feels good about things, and she gets back on her feet. It's a hand up, not a hand out.
Right.
Now, I'm not opposed to those programs if they're used in the right way. And I think that system's broken. I think if you talk to people, the people that really need help struggle getting that help. and the people that may not necessarily need the help don't seem to have trouble getting the help.
Isn't
And
that odd? Yeah.
so I think the system is broken. We have a lot of broken systems in Washington, but I want to help lift people up, everybody, lift everybody up, not just, say, hey, we want to take the welfare and food stamp away. I want to take it away, but I want to take it away that benefits them.
Well, food stamps are way down. I mean, as people are collecting, I think it's like 20 million of them that's come off of food stamps. So there's some pluses that wages have gone up on that part.
That's right.
I want to step back a little bit about the debt. You talk about the debt, we overpay the debt off on that part. Most of it's with China, and we're starting a war right now with China.
Don't say that.
On trade. Well, we are, and I've said this all along, way
Who
back.
started it, Tom? There's a deficit of how many $1 billion? Who started that? I mean, we started that. I mean, come on. We're just counterpunching. Trump is a counterpuncher.
A counterpuncher on that part. But I've always said, along if you can't pay your debt back, there's always assets and state parks and stuff. They call the debt and maybe land or something. I don't know what they'll do. They'll have to. There'll be something.
It's unfair trade.
There'll be some fair trade on it.
Yeah.
If you can't pay it back, I mean, it's like a bank.
I'm not sure I understood what you just said. Are you saying we give our national parks to pay the debt?
I didn't say. I said they will probably ask for something of that nature.
Okay. All right.
They will probably ask. I didn't say it'll happen, but they probably would ask. It's like a bank. You don't make a house payment, they repossess it.
But Chip's right. It's unfair trade. They started and until we get more of the manufacturing back over here, then we have more of the stand on. And a lot of manufacturing is coming back. One for quality issues. We still win the quality award when it comes to manufacturing and stuff. And a lot of it's coming back before because of quality, but now is coming back because of our economy. We've made it more appealing with corporate tax cuts. Have made it more appealing for manufacturers to reinvest.
Yeah, but how are you going to fill jobs? So, I mean, we don't have enough to fill jobs. 2.8 unemployment. Denzo's getting ready to hire 400 people. They don't know where they're going to get them from. I mean, your community don't have so many people. And I'm going to say
They're
this.
going to get them from Volkswagen.
Well, I don't know if they're Volkswagen or whatever, but as a community, as you go in as a management into a company, you more likely will transfer into a community like Cleveland, for example. You got HR, they came from a different facility. But your average worker is not going to pick up over in Meigs County someplace and move their family to Cleveland to buy a house to go work at Whirlpool.
They used to do that.
Well, they don't do it. You're thinking about kids and schools or friends and stuff. And it's hard to do and to pay. And then 90 days you don't work out. You're out with a job. And then you got to. So our community, we don't have enough people like you were saying earlier with technical skills. And I think one of the things you talk about the Pie Center is a great thing because they can pull from Polk and Meigs County and actually get a technical side of it. Whether it'll happen or not, I'm not sure if it will or not, but time will tell. But there's not enough people to fill those jobs. So where do you get the people from? Well, they're not going to move into community.
But we've got to do better job of getting those places to go to more rural counties. When you look at the 4th District, it's 16 counties. It goes all the way over to Columbia, Tennessee, up to Murfreesboro, and right along that Alabama border over to Lincoln County with the exception of Hamilton. So it's a large district. So there's some places like Murfreesboro, Columbia, and Cleveland that are doing great. But some of those more rural counties are not doing so good.
Right.
Your Bledsoe, your Sequatchie, Grundy County, I guarantee you a lot of those places would welcome to have some of these places come there.
They have relatively high unemployment in those counties compared to the Bradley counties and the Hamilton counties. Okay.
Yeah. More about the infrastructure. I guess that's where they struggle at, is the infrastructure, sewer, city, water, whatever it may be. And the roadways, they probably they struggle with that.
Well, like
parks, industrial parks.
Right, and a lot of them have built industrial parks and they sit empty.
Yeah.
Because over in Bledsoe County, they could have that new industry coming in. I think they're going to make like a nursing uniforms or something there. And that was a big deal for them because that one factory that was their main factory shut down. Gosh, I want to think it was like 10 years or more. I don't want to get my facts wrong, but it had been sitting there empty for a while. And, they done like a good community should do, and they went after this company to get them in there. But you have a lot of those places, industrial parks, that are sitting empty. And their unemployment, I think Ray County for a while, and they're building some things in Ray County, but for a while they were like the second highest in the state or something. It was not that good for me.
Yeah, they got that new tire manufacturer going into
Right.
Ray County up there. So there's supposed to be 400 some people. I mean, so there again, we got our new industrial park on the south side. If people come in there 400,000 or 500,000, you got 2.8. It kind of dampens it a little bit. They're saying, where are we going to get the people from? I'm going to make an investment, but where are we going to get the people? Like there again, people are not going to move.
South Bradley County is going to be full before you know it.
Yeah, people are not going to move in just for a job and uproot their families and friends and everything. Just come to Cleveland to work.
I think they will.
I don't think they
I
will.
think
I
they
think
will
they will.
if they're living wage jobs. If they're lower wage jobs, no. But if we can attract.
Well, how do we track them?
You build
we're not,
build it, and they will come.
Yeah.
Tom. Build it, and they will come.
You attract them by having that workforce that's trained up. You have
Yeah.
a more technical workforce.
They'll get you more manufacturers are more high tech
Yeah.
on that part.
So I mean, one of the things we're trying to do is work with the local industry and get donations and stuff, and as far as equipment for the Pie Center and everything, because down in Chattanooga, Volkswagen gave that like 14 schools PLCs, which are programmed logical controller, and we need some of the manufacturers here in Cleveland area to partner with the local schools, and because some of the stuff that's been taught is not applicable today. One time I visited Bradley and I seen and I don't want to get too technical, I seen a drawing of a resistor on the wall. Well, you no longer go down to the component level when you're troubleshooting that stuff, and it's about 15 years behind the time. So we need to make sure that the stuff we're teaching in the schools is pertinent today.
Talking with Jack Maddox with our on the Morning Jive with Jeff and Tom. Jack Maddox, congressional candidate for the 4th Congressional District of the U.S. Congress. He's with us today in studio and talking about issues in the district and in the nation, and we're happy to have him with us. And if you want to call in and ask him a question, you can do so at 614-5553, 614-5553.
Jack, let's get back to the school thing again here. We got the U.S. State lawmakers just passed "In God We Trust" on a school bill, that they can put a plaque in or do something in schools, and it's up to Governor Hasman now. It's in his desk to sign, and if he signs, it goes in effect immediately on that part. You think of being pushed back on that? I know you're a man of faith and stuff, and I am too, and Jeff is too, so I ask you a question about that. Do you think it's the right thing to do?
I think it's the right thing to do, but I think we're going to hear about it, just like we heard about the stuff at Bradley High School. And you guys remember how it was every morning at Bradley, the morning prayer.
Yeah.
I think somebody read a Bible or prayer and the pledge.
I did that 2 or 3 times. One of my verses that I read was from Proverbs, that it's better to live alone in the attic than with an ornery woman.
Yeah,
I got disciplined for that.
and they want to separate state and religion, but in all our coins in America, in money, it's got God. In God we trust, and that goes back to the Civil War back in 1864. They put that on there. It was the motto. And in 1956, Congress passed a resolution declaring "God We Trust" is our national motto on that part. So, and it sits up there. When Trump's making his speech up there on the Hill, it's right there behind it. So
no arguments here. I mean, I think from a historical perspective, also I'm a believer, so I really think that we should continue that bedrock that we're founded upon. But from a historical perspective,
maybe prayer will get back in school. If we move this, maybe we'll get prayer back in school.
I think that they do it. They're wrong when it comes to the separation of church and government. What that was really intended for, when they come over, the church was controlling the government over there. So they just wanted to make sure that the church was controlling the government, not it's not even in the Bill of Rights the way they say it is. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways they're utilizing things. That's where we have the Supreme Court. Instead of interpreting law, they're making law. To me.
Well, let me ask you a similar question that I asked about the deficit. Do you think we've ever really, really, truly paid that back? Another question like this: do you really, really think that we'll ever go back to have prayer in schools? To go back to replace some of these things that we've taken away over time in the name of progress. Do you really think that are we just here to slow things down, to slow the train down, or do you really think we can turn it around and go back to those days?
Well, with God, I think all things are possible, and I think with revival, yes.
Okay.
There's been, if you look back over our nation's history, there's been a few times that we went through revival, and that I think we need a good revival of the heart of God. We've talked about school, the school shooting in Florida, right? That was a tragedy. I hate that happened, but it's
Or perhaps an attack, maybe a revival or an attack upon and something that unites us as a nation and
yeah,
sends us back.
I don't see us going backwards on that part. It's no way. We're on a slippery slope going down, and with the media, social media and stuff.
Don't say backwards. Just say go back.
We're going. We're going the direction.
I think we're going backwards.
Yeah, we're not going. We're going the one way because of the young kids and social media and stuff, and they're not in church like they need to be. The families don't sit around the table and have dinner. We've talked about this before. You see them out in restaurants. Both parents will be on the phone.
The whole family. The whole
family's on the phone.
They're sitting there as a family, but they're all talking to somebody else. I guess they're wishing they were with somebody else.
And I've had this debate with my wife, and I said, she said, you are not going to take cell phones away from kids. It's not going to happen. You just got to learn how to deal with it and move on and try to move it.
Well, truly, the moms don't want you to. The moms really, they love their kids to have these phones more so than the dads. I'm being general here, but the moms really want their kids with those cell phones. They want to be able to touch them anytime they want to. They want to know where they are. They want to know that they're safe. They want to be able, their child to be able to let the world know if something's wrong. And that's, I found that that's a real, and I get it. Yeah, I get it. I do. But then you get the negatives that we've seen coming on.
The reactions, there's a, counter reaction to that.
But I think we have a heart issue. I think there's mental health problems, and I also think we have a heart issue.
Well, let's talk about mental health issues. Why are we giving so much money away to these other countries? Why don't we bring it back into our country and help these mental issues and bring our buildings back to help these people? Instead of sending all the money across the seas, why don't here we go again. Take care of America first. Why don't we bring it back and use it for us and benefit us? Why do we have to send all this money across seas?
I think we do have we got to, like President Trump says, we have to evaluate these relationships. But before y'all let me go, I want to tell everybody out there, I have a website. It's the Maddux, MADDUX, like X-ray, the number 4, uscongress.com. I'm on Facebook as well, and I appreciate your support. I am local to Bradley County. I think it's time Bradley County has a voice in Washington. And, folks, I will support you. I am pro Second Amendment, very, very pro-life, and I'm pro-America. I am a patriot, and I think we need to give President Trump some real help besides and lead out front instead of leading from behind from our district.
There you have it. Jack Maddux, congressional candidate for the 4th Congressional District of the U.S. Congress. Thank you so much, Jack, for being here. I think you addressed the issues very well with us. We appreciate that, and we appreciate you offering yourself for office. It's a very, very tough thing to do, and it's not for wimps. So we appreciate you very much and what you're doing.
Thank you, Jack.
And you're welcome to call in any time and address issues that we're talking about here on the Morning Jive with Jeff and Tom. Man, another week has gone by, Tom, and it's the quickest hour in radio right here. The Morning Jive with Jeff and Tom.
I tell you, it's on fire. The station's on fire right now.
Commercial free. We have some music from the 70s and 80s, and we just have a ball. And we appreciate you being with us. Thank you so much for listening. It's time to start the weekend almost, and so we want you to have a blessed weekend and join us next week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for the Morning Jive with Jeff and Tom. Take us out of here, Tom.
All right, here we go. We're going, you're still the one. Here we go. You're still the one out there. Babe, if you're listening, you're still my one. Here we go. Jeff, you got anything you want to add to that? Jeff, so you're still the one, too. Jeff, on that part. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again Monday at 7 o'clock.
I never want to see you again, but
could find none made weapon the burden of you. Oh, you really played. Said her name was Maria. Seen myself unto town. Found a sheep